Well played, good sir. I shall see your tweet and raise you a video. Hi, this is Pete Lyons with Let's Play Salesforce, and in tonight's video, we will be covering spoilers for the Summer 19 release. That's right, this is the 6th release in a row that I am doing Einstein Analytics coverage for, and just like all the rest, it's going to start off with a quick safe harbor slide. You guys know the drill. I don't work for Salesforce. I don't speak for Salesforce. Please make purchasing decisions based on currently available technologies. This is commentary, not documentation. And now, let's get into the spoilers. So I've blown the dust off my GS0 pre-release org. I've reset my password and logged in as Kitty Cat Surfing on Pizza. And we are now ready to jump in for the spoilers. So first thing I'm noticing is that when I go into the Analytics Studio, I've got a new load spinner and a new UI skin. And before anybody panics and says, "Oh no, they've messed with it again. What year is it? What world am I in?" No, this was actually really well handled. The changes are gentle and subtle. It's got a really nice color balance to it now. I think it's a lot more in theme with Lightning and gives you much more of a feeling that you're looking at an extension of Salesforce and not a completely separate product, which has always been kind of the goal. But we've had some times where that transition was very jarring, and I felt that this was both very smooth and also very impactful. It's got a nice pop to it. I still wish there was some kind of wave on it somewhere, but you know what? I'm happy with what I'm seeing. So let's take a quick walk down memory lane and a little jab that I made about a year ago in one of my Sackwell videos about a button that I thought was missing.
I'm just going to look for the button to add filter logic. No, that says set limit. Is it under the table modes or this more button or maybe this paintbrush? Where is it? It's simply not there.
So let's have a look at how that manifests in Summer 19. Well, if I open my opportunity data set and I hop over to my filters, well, here's my button, but it's grayed out. So let's see if we can get that rolling. So first, I'm going to add a filter where opportunity type equals existing customer replacement. And then I'm going to add another filter for stage equals needs analysis. Oh, I'm so bad at this. You know what? I know it sounds like the kid who bugged you for a puppy for years and you finally gave it to him for Christmas and then he immediately tells you he wants a bike. But wouldn't it be cool to see count of rows next to all these filters right here? Because, I mean, it is driving off of a query anyway. But I do need to get some kind of filter here, and I don't have a ton of data because it's my GS0 org. So I'm going to group by stage so I can actually see, oh, okay, ID decision makers. Okay, so that's what I've got to work with in here. So now I'm going to filter where stage equals ID decision makers so that I actually have at least one row of data here. And I'm now going to be able to add some filter logic. And I'm just going to say 1 or 2. And my expectation is that the count of rows should increase if I have at least more than one row of data in that. Let's see if that's actually the case. So yeah, we go up to 3 actual rows of data now. Count them. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like in the JSON, because that's what I really want to see here. So we've got filters, we got 1, we've got 2, and then Boolean filter logic. What an amazing parameter that is. And guess what, guys? I have it on good authority that this is fully bindable. I am going to be doing some crazy stuff. You watch out for some videos in the upcoming weeks, but this is so powerful. We have been waiting years for this. There's half a dozen ideas on the exchange that are about to be marked as delivered. So I had to actually hop back. I'm recording this a little bit later. I missed this feature when I was covering filters earlier. We now have the ability to apply a filter to the same field more than once. So you might think, oh, okay, well, who cares? I could already do that by editing the stage filter and just selecting more than one value. But the deeper use cases for this are often bindings getting passed from, who knows what Sackwell step where you're also binding into your field name, or, but you want the user to be able to click on stuff and drill in, and, or what if you want to be able to filter a measure to identify outliers? For example, opportunity amount is less than 0 or greater than $1 billion gajillion because you're trying to find those outliers. So you're going to need to filter on that same field more than once. And I've had to jump through a lot of hoops because of that limitation in the past. So really glad to see that it's gone. So for the next feature we're going to be covering, we actually have to hop into values table mode, and you might not be noticing anything too different right now. But how about now? And I bet most of you probably still have no idea what it is that I'm pointing out here. But here it is. Type equals aggregate flex, not grain. So what does that actually mean? Well, let me ask you guys this. Anybody know what this does? No quote? This is the legacy binding syntax that was supported under the old designer, and the way it worked was completely different. And up until this release, values tables were driven off of what was called type grain, which only supported this legacy syntax. And to be able to do a simple binding on a values table, we would either have to use the deprecated syntax, or we would have to, flip it to SACWL mode and deal with all of the different, eccentricities that would bring with it. But not anymore. Now it's aggregate flex. We can do all the same cool stuff that we did with it before. So this next feature has to do with the dataset fields panel. Hopefully everybody knows what this is. This allows us to see all the fields that we have in our data set. We can also make changes to them, such as relabeling them, setting default colors, relabeling different values within the field, formatting numbers, ton of different stuff that we can do with this. It allows us to interact with the XMD or extended metadata through the UI. And this is now exposed to the SACWL editor. And what's really cool about this is, let's say that I wanted to group by or pull in my opportunity category, and I have no idea what the API name for that is. I actually have the API name right here. And this brings us to the next really cool feature. So right here, if I was to say throw this in here because I want type as, opportunity category, I would copy that, and now I can paste that in here. And obviously this is going to throw an error because I'm attempting to generate something that it's a string value that I haven't grouped by, and I've already declared my grouping. But where it throws, so it does throw this generic error, but it's not exactly what I was trying to show. I'm just going to really make it mad. ASDF. I always get mad about that. It's very reasonable. The query editor should get mad about seeing ASDF on my screen as well. When I do this, it actually tells me this is on line 3, column 59, which is previously something that we didn't have. It was really hard to figure out exactly what it was mad about, and I feel like this error message is actually a lot easier for me to interpret than previously. But I do think I found just a teensy bug. So now if I hit the back button and undo this a couple of times, and I flip back into bar graph mode, the close button is not present, and I don't have any way to get rid of the dataset fields panel. But I always actually like finding these little gems because every single bug that I've ever found doing a new release video has been resolved. Next up, we have a much needed feature that's finally made its way into the UI. If I am to group by opportunity stage, I now have the ability to click this drop down and sort descending alphabetically or ascending. Now, we could always do this by hacking the JSON, but it was a real pain in the butt, and a lot of people didn't even know that it was a thing. Also, on the topic of clean, intuitive UI, let's switch over to the compare table. And the first thing that I'm going to show you doesn't really seem like it makes that big of a deal. I'm going to go edit this column. The formula editor is now on the left, and it remains largely unchanged, but I know it might not seem like a lot. I like it a lot better on the left because I'm already over on the left here messing with all the properties of my query. Why would I expect to find the panel to control that to be on the right? It just didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But that's not even the real kicker. So previously, if I wanted to add a calculated column, I would edit the column that I was on, and I would hit the plus button right here. And I found that that was really confusing for super users. Our super users were kind of this bridge that would allow other business users to get some of the answers that they needed that they might not know how to do in the tool on their own. And if you understand the basics of Excel, you can probably get this to do what you want and a whole lot more. But trying to explain to them, okay, so I want you to click that drop down, go to edit this column, but I don't want to edit this column. Okay, then go to clone this column, but I don't want to clone the column. I just want to add a formula. How do I add a formula? Well, now you click the plus sign and you click add formula. Where has this button been for all of these years? I am super pumped to see this. It's going to make training and adoption a lot better. Combo charts. We now have dots. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'm down with some dots. So next update, we're going to hop into the dashboard editor, and we're going to drag a global filter widget onto the screen and click filter, select our Opti dataset stage, and now we're going to go hit that plus sign that isn't there. Huh, that's strange. Well, let's just try that again. Let's move this one over here. Give that guy a little bit of room too. Maybe if we try a different field. Oh, amount. No, no, no. I still don't seem to have that plus button on my global filter widget. And it looks like I've got two different global filter widgets. So the update that we're actually seeing is that global filter widgets can now act independently on a field by field basis, and we can kind of pick and choose how they're going to behave. But what about my old global filters? Maybe I liked having all the fields on all the filter widgets. Well, now we can just drop down to global filters. We can select multiple global filters, and then we've got all the things on one of the things. And that actually leads me to the next update that I saw, which was right here under onboarding. We now have the ability to, first, this is super meta. We have a video telling us about how to add videos, which is super cool. But we can actually add a video via embedding a URL from YouTube. And this is going to allow us to provide onboarding content and tutorials for our end users. Kind of almost like how now we have My Trailhead, so that we can make trailheads for our end users, which is pretty cool. So our last feature tonight is actually more of a teaser than a spoiler, and it has something to do with embedded dashboards. And you might guess that by the fact that I'm in the Lightning app builder right now, and I have an Einstein Analytics dashboard selected. So now if I look at the filter box and I hover over this tooltip right here, create dashboard filters in the filter builder, or enter a JSON string. So this is an extremely powerful feature, and I'm very excited to see how it works. But just like you, I'm going to have to wait until the next video, because right now I have no idea how to make it work. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.